Now these are selected questions from the assignment. But before starting the questions, let's just quickly discuss the key. The key is right here. You will have two quantities. After every statement, you will have two values. One in the first column, which we call quantity A. One in the second column, which we call quantity B. So we have to compare the two quantities. If quantity A is greater than quantity B, we state the answer as A. If quantity B is greater, we state the answer as B. If both are equal, the answer is C. And if you cannot decide, if there's not enough information, we state the answer as D. Right? I hope you all know the key by now. Let's begin with the questions. Now, in this question, there is an isosceles triangle. Let's say QRS, where this angle is 45, this is 45. So if this is 45, this has to be 90. With this, we know that the segments QS is equal to R8 and QR is X. Okay. With this, we also know there's a polygon DEFGH. It's a five-sided figure. Just let's say this DEFGH. DE is 3, GH is Y. There's the polygon LMNOP, again five-sided, where LM is 1, OP is 2. Now this is the information in the question. What we have to compare actually is quantity A, which is the first column, X, and quantity B, which is Y. Now if I look at X, X is from the triangle. I can find X. If I need, I can find X using sine rule. Right? It's an isosceles triangle. You can also use the Pythagoras theorem. It's a right angle triangle. So there is a way to find X. I'm not going to find X, but I know there's a way to find X. But if I look at the diagram for Y, I don't have the angles of this pentagon. So there's no way I can find the length of Y. So if you cannot find Y, you cannot compare it to X. Now, this was completely irrelevant. This diagram wasn't used at all. So there was a lot of extra information in this question. And at the end, we have no way to compare Y to X. Hence the answer is D. Now, we have the sum of the measure of 13 and 10. If I look at 13, 13 is this and 10 is this. These are vertically opposite angles, which we know are equal. So if the sum is 160, it actually means these are 80 each. (160/2) is 80, right? So that's 80 each. Now you have to compare the measure of angle 4. This is quantity A and this is quantity B. Now if angle 13, angle 10 is 80, this is the corresponding angle. This also has to be 80. If I talk about angle 11, which is this one, now this one corresponds to angle 3. Angle 3 and angle 4 are supplementary angles. They are on the straight line. So if this is 80, this has to be 100. And if this is 100, angle 11 has to be 100 as well. So you're actually comparing 80 to 100. Clearly 100 is more than 80. So the answer is quantity B is greater than quantity A, which is option B. Okay. Now this is the next question. There's a diagram given to us for the two parts, for the two questions. In the first part, they're saying the number of sides of this polygon is quantity A, which clearly is 4. Number of sides of a triangle, which is clearly 3. So obviously 4 is more than 3. So quantity A is more than quantity B. Hence the answer is A. Now next we have is the sum of interior angles of this polygon and 360. If you remember, I gave you a formula to find the total angle in a polygon, which is n minus 2 into 180. In this case, it's 4 minus 2 into 180, which is 360. So we're comparing 360 to 360. So that has to be option C. Now this was a four-sided figure, it's a quadrilateral. We know all quadrilaterals have angle of 360, but if there was any n-sided figure, we can use n minus 2 into 180 to find the total angle of any n-sided figure. N can be 5, it can be a pentagon, it can be a hexagon. We can use this formula to find the total angle. So in this case, we're getting 360, which is also quantity B. So hence they're equal, which is option C. Now again, we have an 8-sided figure. It's an octagon. They're saying the area of this polygon, which has all sides equal to 8. So basically it's a regular polygon. I can find the interior angles. I can find the area as well if needed. To find the area, I can just convert this into 8 triangles. 8 congruent triangles, by the way, but if needed. So this is 8 each. You can find the angles. The thing is, we can find the area if need be. The second quantity B we have is, it's a convex polygon, which means sides outwards, whose interior angles measure to 900. Now, if you have the total angle, there is no way to find the area, because if I talk about this, I'm just taking an example. Let's say this is one figure which has a total angle of whatever. If I make a similar figure, just larger in size, same distribution of angles, these two will have the total angle equal. दोनों का total angle same होगा, but दोनों का area बहुत different होगा, because the area depends on the length of the sides as well. So in this case, we do not know what the lengths are. Right? So there is no way I can compare the areas. Hence, this again is D. Now, 287 says a convex polygon has 5 sides. This polygon has 3 right angles and 2 congruent angles. Now, there are 3 right angles and 2 congruent angles, which could mean, let's say this, something of this sort. This is 90, this is 90, this is 90, and these are the 2 congruent angles. There are 5 sides. Okay. Now measure of one congruent angle compared to 130. This is for this one. So first thing, to find the congruent angle, I have to find the total angle first. Total angle in a pentagon is 5 minus 2 into 180. That's 3 into 180, which is 540. Now out of this 540, there are 3 right angle triangles, which means 270. So from this 540, if I remove the 3 right angle triangles, that's 540 minus 270, which is 270. Now this is the sum of the 2 congruent angles. If I divide this by 2, I get each congruent angle, that's 135. So this is 135 degrees, and you're comparing this to 130. So clearly it's B, because it's A, because quantity A is greater than quantity B. 135 is more than 130. Now, before solving the question, let's just complete the triangle. Let's find the missing angles. So if I look at this smaller triangle, the total angle is always 180. So if I remove the 2 angles from 180, what I get is, this is 180 minus 95. So this is 85. Now this angle is 85. Angle 1 is also 75, because vertically opposite angles. So if the 2 angles are equal, the third one has to be equal. Either you find this using total angle, or you look at the other triangle. So basically what we have here are 2 similar triangles. Similar triangles are basically the ones which have the sides in the same ratio and the angles are exactly the same. So if I talk about similar figures here, it's actually ABE is similar to DBC. Angle A corresponds to angle D, so that's A and D. Angle B corresponds to angle B, so B and B. Angle C and angle E are same. So this corresponds to this, that's why E is C. So order is important here. You'll have to state which angle corresponds to which one in the other figure. Now once you know this, let's try answering the parts. Measure of AEB. AEB is given to us as 85. This is given in the question. Measure of BCD. We just found that as 85 as well. So therefore the answer is C. Now, next part says compare the areas of the two triangles. Now I've told you this before, do not assume that the diagrams are drawn to scale. Now this one may appear to be smaller than ABE, but we cannot assume that. If they had given us the lengths, we can find the areas and compare them, but without the lengths, we cannot compare the areas. We cannot assume that length DC is less than EE. We cannot assume that. Yeah. Okay, now the last part is interesting. They're saying the ratio of this AB upon DB. So AB is AB is this length and DB is the corresponding length on the other triangle. So I don't know what the lengths are, but I just know that the ratio has to be the same. So whatever the ratio of AB to BD is, let's say that's S, just calling it S, the ratio. Yahi ratio hoga of all the other sides as well. So if I talk about the second thing, what we have is the length of AE upon DC. AE upon DC. Again, two corresponding sides. So AE upon DC also has to be the same ratio, which is S. Now in this question, what they're asking us to find is the ratio of the two ratios. This is the first ratio. This is the first ratio. This is the second ratio. They're asking us to find the ratio of these two, which is ratio of S is to S, which we know is 1. So you're actually comparing 1 to 3 by 4. And therefore, it's A. Now this is an interesting question. So read the question very carefully. There's a lot of information. There's a surveyor looking at two buildings from a distance. Now the buildings are perpendicular to the ground. He sets two telescopes at 45-degree angle to the tops of both buildings, both at an elevation of 100 feet above the sea level. So basically there are two buildings and there's a telescope which is 100 feet above the sea level. Telescope यहाँ पे है with angle 45 for both buildings. Now both buildings are above 100 feet above sea level and building A is 1100 above sea level. So basically if I make a diagram for building A, this is 100. So this portion is 1000 and this angle is 45 because the total height above the sea level is 1100, out of which this is 100, hence this is 1000. So this actually forms a right angle triangle, by the way. Now what else I know is the telescope pointing at A is 250 feet away from the base, which means this distance is 250. So I have a right angle triangle with the base and the height. Base being 250, height being 1000. Now what I also know is the base of building B is 300 feet away from the telescope. So same distribution of angles. This is 100, again 45 degree. This is building B. I don't know the height, but I know that this distance is 300 feet. Now one thing is for sure, these two triangles are similar figures because they share the same distribution of angles. They're similar but not congruent. Why? Because the lengths are not same. We have the base as different, but since they're similar figures, their sides are going to be in the same ratio. So if the bases are in the ratio 250 is to 300, it has to be the same ratio for the heights as well. So I can use this ratio to find x. Let's say this is x, the height. In fact, the height is x plus 100 because this is 100. So if I find x, I can find the height. I do not need to compute for x. I just need to compare it to the height of A. Now, since this ratio is more than 1, I know for sure x has to be more than 1000. So if x is more than 1000, x plus 100, which is the height, has to be more than 1100. Once I know this for sure, I can state the answer as B. Because quantity B is the height of building B, which we know is more than the height of building A. Right. So just represent this information on a diagram. Realize this is similar figures. Compare the ratios and you should get the answer. Now we have a right angle triangle given to us. We have to recreate the diagram substituting 3 for 6 and 5 for 10. Now given this information, we have to compare 4 to B. Now we do not know what B is. We have no information regarding B. So when there is no information regarding a variable, you cannot compare it. Hence it's D. If they had given us some information regarding B, that B is the base or B is TS, then we could have compared it to 4. But since we don't know what B is, we cannot compare it. Now this is a diagram given to us. It's a quadrilateral, could be a parallelogram, we don't know. But what we have to compare actually is this value 42 square feet to the area of the triangle in the figure. Now if I look at this triangle, this is the triangle they're talking about. Okay. So area of triangle is half into base into height. Now this is 90, so that 5 is the hypotenuse. Right? 5 is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is the longest side. Right? So I know that the height for sure is less than 5. The base of the triangle, which is this, is also less than 5. So if I find the area, it has to be less than 12.5 feet squared. It cannot be 12.5 or more. Because to be 12.5, the sides have to be 5 and 5, which is not possible. Because the longest side is 5, other sides have to be less than 5. Hence the area for sure is less than 12.5 feet squared. So you're comparing that to 42 square feet, which clearly is greater. So it's option A. Now, the second part is saying the base of the triangle in the figure, which is this. Again, I just know this is less than 5 feet. That's all I know. Now we are comparing this to the base of a triangle whose area is 135 and the height is 10. Now area is half into base into height. Now from here, if I find the base, it's actually 135 into 2 upon 10. That's 270 upon 10, 27 feet. Now you're comparing 27 feet to something which is less than 5 feet. Clearly it's B. Now 315. Sally is mounting photographs on matting board. She has 48 square inches and she has a stack of 5 photos, each measuring 3 inch by 5 inch. Now the question is, you're comparing number of photos she can mount to the number of photos she cannot mount. The total is 5. So let's say if she can mount 1, she cannot mount 4. If she mounts 2, cannot mount 3, and so on. But the problem is, I just have the area. Now 48 square inches could be 2 times 24. If I have this distribution, I can mount 0 because I need dimensions of 3 and 5. I will not get a width of 3 from this distribution. This actually means this is the rectangular board I have. This is 24, this is 2. There is no way I can cut a 3 inch by 5 inch from here because I don't have a width of 3 inch. So in this case, the answer would be, the quantities would be 0 and 5. Cannot mount any, so not mounted 5. But if I take the distribution of, let's say, 16 times 3. If I take this dimension, in fact, one second. If this is 16, this is 3. Now I can actually mount 3 because width is 3. That's fine. From 16, I can take 3. With this would be the remaining portion, but I can take 3. So if I have this distribution for the area, I can mount 3 and not mount 2, which means quantity A is 3 and B is 2. So in this case, the answer would have been A. In this case, the answer would have been B. But I don't have the dimensions, so I cannot conclude it's whether it's A or B. So hence, I would state this as D. So 316. A standard sign, stop sign, has 8 sides. So it's a regular pentagon because all sides equal. So I'm just making a rough one. Something of this sort. Now special yield sign is built to seen from a great distance. Okay, so there is an equilateral triangle with 26 each. This is 10 each. This is 26 each. And has 3 reflected circles attached to the front. Now when they're saying to the front, it actually means on the triangle. These have radius of 1.5 each. So that's 1.5. Now given this information, we have to compare the perimeter of the stop sign to the perimeter of the yield sign. Now just one thing, these circles will not be counted for the perimeter because they're not outside the boundary of the triangle. Perimeter is sum of all boundaries. These do not make any boundary for the sign, the yield sign. So for the perimeter of the stop sign, it's just 8 times 10 because 8 sides 10 each, that's 80 inches. This is quantity A. For the triangle, it's actually 26 each. 26 times 3 is the perimeter. That's 60 and 18, 78. So clearly 80 is more than 78, hence the answer is A. The only confusing part here could be the circles. You have to understand the circles are on the triangle, so they will not contribute to the perimeter. A baker has made a square sheet cake for a birthday party. Okay. So at the last moment, she says it has to be a circle in shape, not a square. Now what we know is that the cake which was made has sides 11 inch each. So this is 11, 11, 11, 11. Now what they're saying is the first quantity is the area of the largest circular cake that can be cut out of the square. The largest circular cake would be this one, touching the edges of the square. Now, if I have to find the area of this circle, this is the diameter, which is 11. The area would be pi r square. So radius is 11 by 2, 22 by 7 for pi and square, just to get a rough value. Now if I simplify this, what I get is 22 upon 7 into 121 upon 4. This is quantity A. Quantity B is 3/4 of the total area of the square cake, which is 3 upon 4 into 11 square. So this is quantity A. This is quantity B. Now I see 11 square common to both. So I'll just separate that. If I separate that, I get 22 upon 7 into 4 times 121. From here I get 3 upon 4 into 121. So 121 is common to both. So I just have to compare the multiple to see which one's greater. Now one multiple is this and the second one is 3 by 4. Now this actually is 22 upon 28, which is 11 by 14. So you're comparing 11 by 14 to 3 by 4. Now the way to compare these is to make the denominator same. If I make the denominator same, that's actually the LCM, which is 28. So 11 upon 14 is actually 22 upon 28. 3 upon 4 is 21 by 28. So clearly 22 upon 28 is more than 21 by 28. Hence this area is more than this area, which also implies quantity A is more than quantity B. So the idea is when you have to compare the products of some terms, just ignore the common terms. In this case, the common terms were 11 square. I had 11 square in this formula, I had 11 square in this formula. So I just kept that aside and compare the remaining multiples. So this is A. Let's try the next one. We have, okay, so this is a prism. Volume of a prism is always base area into height. For all prisms, the volume is this. By the way, this is not a prism, this is a pyramid, or a cone, or a pyramid. So this pointed one is a pyramid, but with the constant height like this, all sides going in the same direction, constant height, that's a prism. This is called a pyramid. It can be a square base, triangle based, but there has to be a tip which makes it a pyramid. Okay, so what we have to compare is the volume of this prism, which is base area into height 30 times 5 equals 150 meter cube. To volume of a prism with base of 40 and height of 4, that's 160 meter cube. Just base area, both are prisms, so base area into height, clearly 160 is more than 150, so the answer is B. Now this is a pyramid. For the pyramid, the volume is 1/3 base area into height. Okay. So I have to compare the volume of this pyramid, which is 1/3. Base is a square base, so that's 10 into 10 base area into height, which is 12. Now that's 12/3 is 4, so this is 400 inch cube. So I'm comparing 400 inch cube to 1200. So clearly 1200 is more, so it's B. Now 325 says the volume of the pyramid in the diagram if the height is changed to 9. So basically the volume. Now there's a circle with radius 4. Let's say something of this sort. This is 4. Now the area of the square that would fit inside the circle. So there has to be a square inside the circle. That's this area is the first quantity. And the second quantity is the area of the entire circle. Now this is very commonsensical. Square is inside the circle, which means the area of the square has to be less than the circle for sure. There is no calculation involved here. There is no need of any calculations. You can find the areas. You can find the area of the square. You can find the area of the circle, but you don't need to. Because clearly circle will have a greater area than the square because the square is inside the circle. So without any calculations, it's B. Okay. Now the total surface area of a cylinder. Surface area of a cylinder is, the curved surface area is 2 pi RH and there are two circles which is 2 pi R square. So you can say 2 pi R H plus R. Just took 2 pi R common. This is the formula to find the surface area of a cylinder. But let's see what we need here. So R is 1, H is 12. So if I use the formula, it's 2 pi 1 plus 12 meter squared. So that's 2 pi times 13, 26 pi meter square. Now this is quantity A. Quantity B is 82 centimeter square. Now the units are different. To compare them, I'll have to bring them in the same unit. So if I convert this into meter, I'll have to divide this by 100 squared because it's centimeter square. And this clearly has to be 0.0082, which is way less than 26 pi for sure. So clearly it's A. Okay. Now Tommy is standing at the base of a hill at a vertical elevation of 0 feet above, on the sea level. He knows the hill rises along the line measured to have a slope of 2 by 5. 2 by 5 is basically rise over run. He has to walk 100 horizontal feet, which is this is 100. Now this is the information given to us. We have to compare the two quantities. One is 35 feet above the sea level. This is a given quantity. That's quantity A. Quantity B is the vertical elevation of the peak, which means this height. We have to find this height and compare that to the given value in A. Now to find this height, I have to use the slope. The rise over n is 2 by 5. That's 2 by 5. So I'll just call this height h. That's h by 100. So if I solve for h, that's 200 by 5, which is 40. So this is 40 feet, and I'm comparing this to 35. So clearly 40 is more than 35. That's B. Now 361 says you have to compare the two quantities, which are A, y-intercept of the line, and y-intercept of this line. Now if I talk about the first line in quantity A, we can clearly see there is no constant. When there is no constant, the intercept is 0. But if you want to be sure and you want to rearrange this, you get minus 1 upon 4x. This is what you get in y equals mx plus c form. So the slope is minus 1 by 4, but there is nothing being added, which means it's 0. So यहाँ पे तो y-intercept 0 है. If I talk about the second quantity, quantity B, now they're saying the y-intercept of this line, which is x equals 9. X equals 9 is the vertical line. This is x equals 9. Now this has no y-intercept. No y-intercept is not 0. It doesn't exist. So when there's something which does not exist, you cannot compare it. So I cannot say the c is 0 here, because that would mean कि line यहाँ से pass कर रही है, which is not the case. So there is something which does not exist, and when you don't have anything, you cannot compare it. There is no comparison here. So not existing does not mean it's 0. It just means you cannot compare it. Now we have two right angle triangles, ABC and BCD. I'm just picking two separate triangles. Let's say this is ABC and this is BCD. I don't know which of them is 90. I'm just making a rough diagram. I know it's a right angle triangle, so one of them has to be 90. Now with this I also know that the two shorter sides of ABC, the longest one is the hypotenuse. So shorter ones are these 3, 6. And for BCD the shorter ones are 4 and 8. Now before anything else, I know that these two are two similar triangles for sure. Why? Because they share a common angle, that's 90, and also the other two sides are in the same ratio. Other two sides are basically 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is 3 is to 4. 6 is to 8 is also 3 is to 4. So they share the same angle and the other two sides are in the same ratio. So these are similar figures. When these are similar figures, the hypotenuse, let's say h1, h2, has to be in the same ratio as well. Right? Now that is the first quantity. They're asking us to find the ratio of the hypotenuse, and the quantity B given to us is a fixed value of half. But the question could be, they're just saying the ratio. So how do I know which triangle is first, which is next? There are two triangles. So let's try both possibilities. If I take AC upon BD, which means this triangle over this triangle, that would be 3 upon 4. If I take BC upon AC, BD upon AC, I get 4 by 3. These are the two possible ratios for the given triangles. But the thing is, if I find these values, this is 0.75, this is 1.33. Now what I'm comparing these two with is half. So if I look at these two ratios, these are the two possible ratios. Both of them are more than half. So whatever the ratio is, whichever triangle is first, I will get a ratio more than half, which means it's quantity A. Now 375 says there's a pie with circumference of 18 inches. It's cut into 9 equal slices. So 9 equal slices basically means 9 parts में divide हो गया equally. Now what we have to compare is the length of the arc formed by the crust of one slice, basically this arc. Now this entire circumference is 18. We're dividing this into 9 parts. So the circumference will also be divided into 9 parts. That's 18 by 9, 2. So every arc is of 2 inch. So this is 2 inch each. We're comparing 2 inches to 1.5. So clearly 2 is more than 1.5, hence it's A.